Hi guys, it's me, Cheyenne from the Curvy Corner, and today I want to talk about basically being healthy and fat, because some people don't really think that's possible. Also, if you see me looking down a lot, I have notes written down so that I don't forget anything, so please excuse me if I'm looking down a lot. So, basically, we're going to start off talking about BMI, which is Body Mass Index. And it's a very complicated process of multiplying and dividing and coming to this magical number that is supposed to tell you where you stand on the healthy scale. While a good proportion of people find this to be a foolproof system, there are a little bit of bugs. The big major one that I saw throughout all these sources that I look through, which I will link in the description below, is that it does not dictate muscle. Meaning, if you are someone who is of average weight, though you carry a lot of muscle, the BMI system will not detect that, and it will add that to your weight or your sum, meaning that it will give you an inaccurate number right off the bat. It was developed in 1832, and the only thing that I think is significant about pointing that out is we have come a very long way in science and in the medical field, and to say that this is one system and we're still using it in 2014, almost 2015, and there have been so many studies done that have proven that this is really inaccurate, though no one actually seems to have came up with a better system, is a little bit appalling to me, especially since my people are being targeted. Also, you have to take metabolism into consideration. Basically, I think everyone knows what your metabolism is. However, the only thing that gets a little bit confusing when you're going on metabolisms is not everyone has a metabolism that would stereotypically fit their body type. There are some fat people who have no metabolism, which means that they would gain tons and tons of weight even when they're not really eating all that much, even if they're eating healthier and all this. And there are thinner people who have a really high metabolism, which means they can eat whatever they want, so lucky, and they won't gain any weight from it. Though it's not always like that. There are some people who are fat who have a really high metabolism, and it kind of prevents them from losing weight sometimes, because if you have a really high metabolism, a lot of what you're putting in your body is automatically getting burned off, and when you're trying to lose weight and eat healthier, it's really exhausting to sit there and eat healthier foods, but your metabolism kind of interferes with that. Now, with a normal metabolism, that might not be an issue, but there are metabolism defects that you can have as a thin person or a bigger person that can also go into play and kind of determine whether or not you're going to have a hard time losing weight. And while it's not always a solid yes or no, this or this kind of thing, it definitely comes into play a lot. The CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, did a study where they compared people's BMI to their longevity, and they found some really interesting news. They found that overweight people have a slightly lower risk of death than normal weight people by 6%. These aren't just like 5 people out of that. 6%. That's a pretty crazy number if you ask me. Though, like I was saying, because there are things like metabolism defects, a lot of the people who were criticizing this study that the CDC did said that they weren't taking those things into consideration. So they did another test. And when they did the new study, they actually found even more evidence that some fat people have a higher metabolism than thinner people, and it is still harder for them to lose weight, which is pretty crazy. It kind of seems like our bodies are against. Now, when you're a bigger person, something that people constantly bring up is your exercise or lack thereof, but there has been a study, lots and lots of studies, that say that you can work out, be overweight, and be healthy. Shocking, I know. What affects your health the most is your physical activity and the nutrients that you're putting in your body, not your body weight. Let's kind of think about that for a minute. You can be overweight and you can work out and you cannot lose weight. But if you're eating right and you're being physical and all that, you can be perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. And for someone to say that, you know, you work out but you're still fat, that you're still unhealthy, is just really an ignorant statement. Because all these studies and all these big things that these scientists have done, or people who are in the medical health field have done, have proved that's absolutely inaccurate. There was a cardiologist named Dr. Lavie, I believe his name was pronounced, and he is a really, really well-known cardiologist, and he did a study within his patient base. People who were overweight and were diagnosed with heart disease were surviving more frequently and longer than people who were thinner and had heart disease. And that kind of goes into the fact that fat cells are not made equal. So there are fat cells in your body that are meant there that help fight off diseases and help, you know, clear out your body of things it doesn't need. And then there are fat cells that can be in your body that are bad and obviously leach onto you and cause the weight gain and cause things like heart disease and things like that. It's very confusing, but you just have to remember, just because you have a significant amount of fat cells in your body is not always a bad thing, because they often can help fight off serious illnesses. That also goes for fatty molecules in your system. They also, because they're going through your bloodstream, they can circulate and they can leach onto things that could be a potential threat in your body, and they can kind of diminish that threat. So really, having fatty molecules or fat cells in your body is not always such a negative thing that we're always taught that it is. With all facts aside, whether you are healthy or unhealthy or somewhere in between there is no reason you should be subjected to harassment or bullying by peers, doctors, or anything. Yes, your doctor is there for your own good, and yes, he does or she does have great information and knowledge, but at the end of the day, honestly, unless it's life-threatening, it's no one's business but your own. And just keep in mind that you can be fat and healthy. You are fat and beautiful. You can be thin and healthy, thin and beautiful, because that's what we're all about at the Curvy Channel. We are here for body positivity, and we are here to remind everyone just how perfect they are the way they are. So stay healthy, stay sassy, and stay educated.